And you can't be giving like people opportunities to be sharing their opinions when it's not their life, it's your life. So it's important when you feel like you are moving forward in a way which feels unknown to you, you are wanting to make a change, you are going against the normal, going against some people's expectations, that you have a few stock phrases that can work really well when it comes to just shutting down conversations which are ultimately going to lead to you feeling really uncertain and insecure. Who wants that anyway? Woo! The people pleasers, please stand up. Hi, it's Lucy Sheridan, the comparison coach here. Welcome to my channel. We're bringing you fresh and funky comparison-free content every Wednesday and every Sunday. So if you're not subscribed, you know what to do. Don't miss out. There's so much good stuff that I want to share with you over our time together. So as I kind of hinted at the top of this video, this is all about people pleasing, but more than this is about helping you not care about what anyone else thinks. It is possible, believe it or not. Now, the thing is, we all care a little bit about what people think because it's all part of being a human. We all want to fit in. If we didn't, we'd be walking around naked and, you know, making very questionable choices in our lives. It's just kind of part of what keeps the world spinning in terms of us conforming to a point. That said, what isn't healthy is when we start to make decisions and live our lives over influenced by the thoughts and opinions of others. That makes me really, really shiver, because when we're doing that, we're not living with our own self-focus and we're not going to go after what we want and then can't align with it, and then comparison can creep in and and so it goes on. You get my point. Let's get onto it. Here are the things I really want to share with you that if you start implementing now, and it's just a bit at a time, guys, just a bit at a time. If you start implementing these now over time, you'll find yourself in a place of total self-ownership and you really won't give a shit about what anyone thinks. Here's the first one. Stop putting your life decisions out to panel. So for example, do you think I should text this guy back to like 9 of your best friends? Oh my goodness, should I change my job? To like your whole family, and then maybe the neighbour, and then maybe the neighbour's dog as well. And getting all these opinions, which will not only confuse what your intuition, your mind is trying to make clear for you, but it will also make it really confusing about which opinion's more important and which it should, you know, which actually is the right thing to do. We must stop putting our decisions out for the opinions of others and inviting that feedback in, because my goodness, if people ask for their opinion, they will give it to you. So it's about stop that with that invitation, whether it's implied or whether it's overt or a bit more subtle. Excuse me. That's not to say that you can't confide in those that love you the most and that are absolutely behind you and what you want to achieve. I'm not saying that you have to go completely quiet and you know, completely on the DL, but be really, really careful about the opinions that you invite in, because they'll only make you wobbly. Number 2 links on from what I've just shared. It's a good one, there's a siren. Number 2 linked into one I've just shared, and that is cultivate a circle of support. When you are aiming to live your comparison-free life, living on your terms and getting in alignment with your goals and your needs and your desires in your life, it's really, really important that we have a support circle that we know we can confide in, that we can fist pump with as well, and that will be there for us just like we can be there for them. It doesn't have to be an isolating process, but knowing who we can trust with our heart and our vulnerability is really, really important. That's why if you are in a process of change or in a process of stuckness, or you're just trying to improve your life, develop yourself, grow, just be better, whatever that means for you, it might mean that people that are surrounding you right now aren't necessarily going to be helpful and supportive of it. So what this means is, if you're trying to, for example, improve your wellness because you really want to feel vitality in your life, it may be time to stop seeing that friend of yours which is always bitching and moaning about before and after photos on Instagram, or always has an opinion about what you're putting on your fork and your mouth. They are the worst, by the way. It might be time while you do get back on your pony, whatever that is, in your wellness, you just don't see them as much. You don't meet up with them as much, so that the circle that you're in is one that is trusting and it is in support of you and where you want to be. When you're back on top of your wellness goals and you feel like you're really thriving, of course, bring that pal back in, because you'll be feeling so much more robust. But while we are in the process of wanting to achieve the growth we want, it's really important to get discerning. I think it was Tim Ron that said, you are the sum of the 5 people, I think it is. You're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So if people aren't in support of your dream or going to help you and stretch you to get there, it's better to have empty seats on that table than those that are just passengers. The next tip I want to share with you that's going to help you become radically confident and really upweight your self-belief is something that I learned through the book Wishes Fulfilled by one of my favourite writers and teachers, Dr. Wayne Dyer. In that book, Dr. Wayne talks about when you have an idea or a concept or a thing that's important to you, whether that's you want to start your own business, ask someone out on a date, ask someone to marry you, save up and go travelling, sell your house, whatever on earth it is for you, if it's important to you, make a temple for it in your heart and guard it. Now, that's not to say you have to be super, super secretive and get people to sign documents so they won't talk about what you've been chatting about in the pub. Might be taking it a bit far. But until your idea is strong enough to walk on its own, until you're familiar enough with it that you can talk about it as much as you want to, or it's on its way to getting where it needs to be in the world, don't let anyone else, or certainly those people that you don't trust, have a word in on it. Because it's really easy for you to get knocked off your own path. It's really easy if your confidence is wobbling, you maybe get stuck or feel like you're moving backwards. Maybe it isn't a good idea. For example, just say you want to leave your job and go travelling because adventure is something that's really calling you. The worst thing you can do is have that thought, turn to your cynical best mate and say, I think I'm going to leave my job and go travelling, and then be like, oh God, that's a bit high risk, isn't it? How are you going to get the money? Da, 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 da. You just don't need all those questions because you don't have those answers just yet, and you haven't even given yourself the opportunity to get to them. So when something's important to you, whether it's a work project, it's a matter of the heart, make a temple for it in your heart and guard it and nurture it, and only discuss it with those that will get it and that can support you. And only start to talk about it at a time when you feel robust enough in it that actually doesn't really matter what other people think, because you're not really that available to their feedback anyway, to be honest. It's not your job to convince or persuade anyone of anything when it comes to living your life. Another thing I want to share with you is when you're kind of moving forward with where you want to be, and if you've been practicing some of the tips I've shared throughout this video, you'll start to feel even more in control. You'll start to realise that people are having less of an opinion. Actually, you're caring much more about what you want than what they want. But start to record a gratitude journal or an evidence journal. Check out my other video on this, it's so good, eh? And start to record an evidence journal that the changes that you want to achieve are showing up in your life today. And what we can do by this is almost have a fun little conversation with ourselves. So kind of writing down, oh my goodness, I saw that guy that I really want to go out on a date with, or I saw that girl I really want to go out on a date with, and she kind of smiled at me. Or, my boss gave me really good feedback. I think now's going to be the time to ask for that promotion. Write down the evidence that what you want is coming into your life. Write down the evidence that your dream is here to meet you halfway. It's a really good way of celebrating early, but it's also a really kind of zingy way of stimulating your confidence as well, and not looking for the feedback of other people, but rather putting your focus and concentration on how it feels for you, which should be leading as much as possible. Now, the last tip I'm going to share to cure your people pleasing is one that's going to take a bit of preparation potentially. But if you get this right, oh my goodness, this is going to take you on leaps and bounds. This is all around being really careful about the language you use and not being apologetic. So, for example, let's use the little example and hypothesis I've been using as I've been talking in this video. Imagine you want to leave your job and you want to go travelling. If someone says, oh, hi, I just heard that you want to leave your job and go travelling. Say, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. The plan's coming together. Did you notice how I didn't hesitate? Yeah, it's kind of an idea I've got. And I didn't get apologetic about it. And I answered the question. I was kind of respectful, but I shut it down. And I stood in my power in that example. Because again, and this is really worth reinforcing, this stuff, when it's to do with you and your dream, is not up for debate. It's not up for feedback. It needs space. And you can't be giving people opportunities to be sharing their opinions when it's not their life, it's your life. So it's important when you feel like you are moving forward in a way which feels unknown to you, you are wanting to make a change, you are going against the normal, going against some people's expectations, that you have a few stock phrases that can work really well when it comes to just shutting down conversations which are ultimately going to lead to you feeling really uncertain and insecure. Who wants that anyway? Another one that really works for mums that I coach about comparison when they're maybe getting lots of opinions about going to work, excuse me, going back to work or not going back to work, etc., etc., is it works for us. So if someone says, oh, are you really going to do that? It's like, yeah, it works for me. Oh, are you really going back to the work with the children so young? Yeah, it's going to work for our family. And again, acknowledge it, be kind, but shut it down. Now, this is going to be a process. People pleasing is something that we kind of inherit in our teens when we realise that, you know, everyone's got an opinion and we have certain people we need to please or gain the approval of to get on in life. So it might take more than just watching this video, even though it's a great one. It might take just more than just watching this video to cure your people pleasing and move on from caring about what other people think such that it doesn't influence you anymore. But hear me on this. If you start to put into place the tips I've shared in this video and repeat them as much as you can, you will feel your life rearrange around you, and you will feel self-confidence come up from within you, because that's where it already is. Come up from within you and start to lead in your life. And my goodness, when that's the case, and it is when, watch out world. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I know it's been a big topic to tackle, but I absolutely believe that you have it within you to cure your people pleasing and live on your own terms. As always, meet me in the comments. If I can provide a bit more support or elaborate on anything, I really want to do that. But in the meantime, I'll see you next time.